I'm not looking here.
Yo, come on, we gotta be quiet. Ah, where are the keys? Come on. Close the door. Open the garage.
What?
Open it.
Oh, is this where we're leaving from?
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna come hang out for a second.
Hurry up, come on.
Ready?
Stop! Alright, that's good enough. Whose car is it? Go grab Marco's keys.
Bro. You go grab the keys, bro.
Unless you can find Mom's keys, I don't know. Hold on, I'll leave that. Let me go grab the keys. Alright, I got the keys. I got the key. We're going to Mom's car. You don't see her lights on? Yeah, but I found Mom's instead. So, I didn't bring my phone, but... Oh, shit.
You buffoon.
For those of you guys wondering why we're being so secretive, it is... What time is it? Like 2 in the morning?
Yeah.
It's about 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's a pretty risky move out here. You know, gotta wear backwards hats. You know how it is.
And me and him are gonna go to 7-Eleven.
Pick them some snackage.
Pick up some snackage.
Do you think they got Raisinets over there?
Not that I know of. I don't think 7-Eleven is that bougie.
Yeah, Raisinets is kind of like a rich people's snack, you know?
Yeah, it's some white people shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mom, I know you're gonna see this. I'm sorry. I would text you. Alright, hold it. Yo, both of us like
Yo, what's up with this seatbelt, bro? It's like inverted. I can't even put it on.
yo, I don't know. Someone broke it.
Yo, you know what, Mom? You know what? I know you're gonna be watching this. Just so you know, I'm not gonna wear my seatbelt.
I'm wearing my seatbelt. Yeah, I would have texted you and let you know that we were coming, but
Didn't want to wake you.
I didn't feel like it, you know. I was like, I'm a grown man. I pay my own bills. I live life the way I want to live it, you know.
Under his parents' permission, of course.
Yeah, of course, of course. Nah, but you know, we just go to 7-Eleven just down the road,
Yeah,
and we
no,
chill.
of course.
So, you know how it be.
What's it called? Yeah, honestly, I really like driving at this time of night when there's like nobody else on the road.
Yo, you gotta show yourself too, dog, not just me.
I mean, it's dark over here. I mean, are you sure this is safe? Can we get pulled over for this? Yo, was that ever like a real law?
No, our parents just said that because the light distracts people. Like if the back right here, it glares and things, and it would distract them.
The other drivers or them?
Them.
And they say, hey, turn off before we get pulled over by the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, our parents were... You remember when Dad called the cops on you and Mimi at church in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Because you guys got bad grades? Like, both of you got like a C or something?
Oh, yeah. Nah,
And then Mom was yelling at you and Dad was like, hello? Cops? Yeah, my kids don't want to study. You're gonna come pick it up in half an hour? Okay, we'll be right here. On this flip phone. Yo, bro, our parents were so mean to us when we were kids.
Yo,
bro.
they bullied us.
Yo, they were
They
awful.
I don't want to say they abused us, but they took it. They took
Bro,
it.
it
They
was
took
borderline child abuse.
They took advantage of our innocence.
Yo, Mom used to be hella mean, bro.
Yeah.
Mom used to be real, like we did anything like, shut the fuck up, I'll fucking beat you right now.
Yo, we'd get like a little bit loud at the store. She looked at us like.
Nah, bro, but what's it called? You remember Tina, right?
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Bro, oh yeah. Oh, that was a woman. Jesus Christ. So my mom had this friend named Tina, right? And she had 2 little daughters, Jackie and Daisy, right? So you remember that time? It was actually right here, this elementary school right here.
Was it?
Yeah, Koa. When I was in never mind. It was at Pontana. It was when I was in kindergarten or 1st grade. I forgot. But this was around the time when Diego was old enough to start learning about, like sex and all that. And so my mom was giving him the talk, but she said, fuck it, might as well just save like a couple years. So she gave the talk to me, him, and my brother Marco. Mind you, I was in like 1st grade at this point. I didn't know anybody, right? So tell me how, my mom says, okay, yeah, when a man and a woman have sex, they have a baby. And I was like, okay, makes sense to me, And then my mom's friend Tina, she gets pregnant. And so me and one of her daughters, I think it was Jackie. Yeah, Jackie, we were both in the same grade. We were sitting outside because, my mom like carpooled us or whatever. So it was me and her. And so she was picking us up from school or whatever. And then I was talking to Jackie and she was like, oh yeah, no, like my mom's about to have a baby. So I was like, oh wow, so your parents had sex. And then she was like, what? No, they didn't. I was like, yeah, they did. They had sex. Like, that's how they have a baby. They have sex. She was like, no. And I was like, oh, yeah. And my mom, bro, like once we got in the car, Jackie just started bawling to my mom. She was like, he said my parents had sex. And my mom turns around like, she turns around and gives me the deadliest stare I've ever gotten from her in my entire life. Bro, I was shook. And this bitch right here, he was instigating. He was like, oh, prepare them cheeks for that ass whooping. Yeah, I was on the car ride home. I was shaking. I was like, oh. Bro, I got traumatized so easily as a kid. We get home. My mom takes me into her room and gives me a beating I will never forget. Okay, and then
when this kid would get his ass beat, bro, it was a whole ass theatrical show. He would run around the house like, no. And I still remember the last time that he ever got whooped. He was a grown kid. He was maybe like 12, 13. This man was like he knew it was coming. My dad was like, all right, it's your turn. Because he had already whooped Marco. So he goes to Widow, he's like, alright, your turn. Widow was like, alright, Widow got the fucking towel rag.
I said, alright, I'm gonna take it like a man.
Widow put the towel rag in his mouth. He like,
bro, I was such a pussy, bro. But bro, the last time I've ever gotten hit by my dad was it was like, I think maybe like last year. Like, I was staying up a little late, like playing and shit. And then Dad walks in the room, he's like, hey, turn that off. I'm not gonna tell you again. I was like, alright. Like 10 minutes go by, I'm trying to finish up the game. He comes in and he just starts going like with the belt. He just starts going at me. I was like, I just stood up, I turned around and I'm like, chill out. Straight up. And then Marco, he was awake, but he just pretended to be asleep. And then my dad gives me one good slap, and I'm just like, I turned it off. Like, what the fuck? And then my dad leaves the room, Marco turns around, he was like, you handle that shit like a pro, bro. I was like, fuck yeah, I did, bro. I went to sleep, my face hurt, but I felt good. Okay.
Alright, we're at the place. We're gonna go inside. We'll be back right quick.
Alright, so we're on the way home now.
We had a whole pizza.
Why are you gonna tell him that?
We didn't. I'm just kidding. Still
just edit this out. Anyways, yeah, so we went, hit up the gas station, got myself a Slurpee. I left the house a normal mouth colored man. I'm coming back with red mouth. You know how it is. Slurpees out here.
Get off my pussy, boy.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought about that.
So where were we? So, my parents used to basically like abuse us, bro. Like, this shit was fucking wild, but at the same time, they did a pretty good job raising us.
No, they did a great job. We're great kids. It's just now we're all fucking
Traumatized.
Not traumatized.
I'm traumatized. I had a wild child, bro. My mom, for real, thought with all the traumatic experiences that I've had, they've always painted me to look like I'm gonna be a serial killer. My mom always thought I was gonna end up.
When you were little, she really thought he was gonna be a serial killer.
Bro, like straight up, because
like,
I was
no friends.
I was that kid who was played by himself. You know, go outside, wave a stick around, pretend I'm like fucking using a lightsaber and shit. And so shit was fucking crazy. You know, because I played by myself, I'd have all these incidents. I've always had a dark sense of humor, right? Always. And in second grade, I think is when it actually like came out, and my parents were like noticed it for the first time. Cause cause in second grade, we were poor, okay? So I didn't have many toys.
Nah, yeah, we were really poor.
So I found a screwdriver that like, you know, and I just kind of like moved it. I pretended the head of the screwdriver was a little sword and the handle was the shield. So I just be moving it like that horizontally, pretending I'm playing with like a little like action figure or whatever. And so I found the screwdriver and I was like, wow, I'm gonna take my new toy to school tomorrow. So I take it to school. I'm in second grade. And I'm over here, you know, I'm just kind of like messing around with it in my bag or whatever. And so this girl, who I was friends with, by the way, her name was Julie. I remember. Julie, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But, you know, like, I was just playing, I was just dicking around with it or whatever, like, in my bag. And she was like, oh, what do you have there? And I was like, oh, it's a screwdriver. You know, and she was like, oh, what do you have it for? I was like, and I was just joking. I was like, oh yeah, to poke you if you don't do my work, right? And she thought it was funny. We were both laughing. We were having a good time. But then I guess her mom didn't find it funny when she told her. Because the next day, her mom wrote a note. I got searched and I got put into ISS for the first time. It was such a scary experience. They put me in ISS with another kid who was like a real troublemaker. Like, he was a real troublemaker. Like, honestly, I think he might be in prison now. Like, this dude was terrible. But me and him actually really connected on like a pretty cool level. We were kind of homies, you know?
Nah, I remember the first time I ever went into ISS. It was in 6th grade. And I don't know what it was, but in 6th grade, I was in this middle school called Discovery. It was a horrible school. It's probably the worst school here. And
it's like an immature version of Liberty.
Yeah, so we were in, it was lunchtime. And you know, you're in lunchtime, you're with your friends, you want to talk and shit. But for some reason, they weren't letting us talk. Like,
silent lunch?
Yeah, like they wanted us to have silent lunch. This went on for like 2 weeks. So every day it was just silent lunch, you know?
2 weeks of silent lunch.
And I was dating this girl back then.
What was her name?
Her name was Leona. She was my first girlfriend ever.
Nice.
I was dating her and
straight up middle school girlfriends are like the best.
Facts.
And those are the ones you look back on and you're like, wow, she really developed.
But I was she was talking to me, or we weren't talking, we were doing some shit with our hands, like we were playing some kind of hand game. And
shit.
I beat her and I was like, yes. But I didn't do it that loud. I was like, yes. Like that, like real low. And I guess the lady behind me was she was walking behind me or some shit, and she was like, you to the stage. And I was like, what, miss? No, please. She was like, no, you're going to ISS. I'm like
straight like that?
Off the rip.
What?
I'm like, god damn. She said, mind you, if they caught you talking, you were sent to the stage, which was, you know, you were eating in the cafeteria, but it was also like the stage room or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you go to the stage and there was maybe like 5-10 kids there, and we all got referrals. And then the next day you were in ISS, and I was just sitting in there, and
we were all depressed.
I was sad. I was crying a little bit. I was like, my mom was gonna disown me.
Did mom ever find out?
Not that I know of. I don't remember.
Oh my god. Okay, no, this is definitely by far one of the most traumatic experiences.
No, but I remember also in 6th grade I was getting bullied by some tiny Asian kid. Like he was literally half my size, and he was bullying me. And I went home and I cried about it. And I told mom, I was like, Mom, they're bothering me. And he literally had like this black henchman. Like this dude was way taller than me. He literally did whatever the little kid told him. I was like, what the fuck is this? Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, nah, dude. What's it called? I remember the most traumatic experience I've ever had, like school-wise. I know you've already heard this story, but this thing was wild. So I was in kindergarten, right? And so I was sitting across the table from this girl, right? And she was talking to some dude, I remember. And they were just talking, having their conversation. We were the blue table, that's what we were. Because we had the blue chairs, everyone else. You had like different chairs, different colors of the table, you know? Like, okay, blue chairs, that's a blue table, you know? And so I was sitting at the blue table. It was my homeboy. I think his name was like Brian, you know? And then the girl, and I'm gonna leave her name like, I'm not gonna name her for like
we literally named everybody.
But anyways, but yeah, no, they were talking or whatever, and then we had a sub, by the way, and this was like a Haitian sub. So these were like the scary ones. Like, they don't fuck around. Like, even if you're not their kid, they'll probably yell at you, you know. And so we were just sitting there, and the girl and the kid are talking. And the teacher is talking or whatever, but then they're having their own little side conversation, and then she just gets up and takes her skirt off, and we're all like, what? And then the sub is like, what the hell are you doing? So she like goes to the other room and calls the other teacher, and then they're interrogating her like, hey, like, why'd you do that? Why'd you take off your skirt? She points straight at me and says, cause he told me to. I was like, huh? Like, bro, I was fucking shook. And then like they came up to me, they were like, did you tell her to take her skirt off? I was like, no. They're like, we're gonna ask you again, did you tell her to take her skirt off? And I was so scared. I was like, yeah. Bro, I was such a bitch. And so next thing I know, first of all, they wrote a note in my agenda, which I hid from my mom until she found it one day and gave me an ass whooping I'll never forget. But then the next one was, the worst part is they made me change my little clip to like the red face, bro. That shit was terrible. But no, the reason my mom found the note is because I think either your bitch ass or Marco's bitch ass got in trouble one day, and mom was like, she decided to check. That's one thing my parents always did. If one of us got in trouble, they'd be like, all right, everybody else bring me your shit, we're gonna see what's going on. Yeah. You know? And so then we're like, oh fuck. You know, like, if Diego comes home with bad grades, he'll be like, okay, everybody, I want you to bring up grades right now. I want to see all of them. And then,
it's like, we're going to whoop one of yours, we're going to whoop all.
Yeah, they're just going to get it all. That's what my parents do, bro. They're the type of people who give, like, ass whoopings in bulk.
What the fuck is wrong? Oh my god. But we just got back inside, so we're gonna go inside and do some shit. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was funny as hell. Me and him have been thinking about starting up a podcast, just a sit-down video, me and him just talking about shit like this, or whatever kind of topics we come across. But if you guys would like to see something like that, just let me know in the comments below, or like the video, you know what to do. Of course, leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and we will see you guys on the next one. It's not loud enough to slurp. Nah, it's empty. Oh. Ah.
I almost choked on a piece right there, but I was about to cough, but I maintained my composure. I was like, for the video.